dootuñu nangu kenn jaay nu réew mi bañ naa déet réew mi bañ naa déedéet dootuñu fi nangu buumu jaam réew mi bañ naa dootuñu nangu kenn noon ñu réew mi bañ naa déet réew mi bañ naa déedéet dootuñu fi nangu buumu jaam réew mi bañ naa dootuñu nangu kenn jaay nu réew mi bañ naa déet réew mi bañ naa déedéet dootuñu fi nangu buumu jaam réew mi bañ naa dootuñu nangu kenn noonu réew mi bañ naa réew mi bañ naa déedéet dootuñu fi nangu buumu jaam réew mi bañ naa dootuñu nangu kenn jaay nu réew mi bañ naa déet réew mi bañ naa déedéet dootuñu fi nangu buumu jaam.
Assalamu alaikum and greetings to all of you wherever you are. And we are saying once again, welcome to Gunjur Online TV. Today on Thursday, 3rd of August 2023, we are back again. We had a little bit of gap. We didn't come for some reason, but we are here today to discuss issues that affects us as a human being. And that affects our continent, that's continental Africa, and that has impact on the whole world because the world now is so global to the extent that one thing that happens on the one side of the world does affect the other side. Once again, we are here. Today we are focusing on our issues. We're going to discuss about issues of SeneGambian region and ECOWAS region, specifically Sub-Saharan Africa, if you want. And today, what we are going to focus more on is Senegal and the Gambia, our sister country, Senegal. And focus will be mostly on Ousmane Sonko, a leading opposition figure in Senegal, has been charged with new offenses and his party dissolves. What impact have this on Senegal? The stability of the country that everybody yearn, and saying that is progressing. What impact will this have on the Gambia as a country? Because, almost we are the same with Senegal, geographically, culturally, and every tie that you can think of. What will this say about the sub-region, citing all the problems that are happening all around in sub-Saharan Africa, in terms of what retrogression this is causing to the sub-Saharan African countries in terms of leadership and in democracy and in progress generally, and how this is going to impact on the youth. So to discuss all these topics here, we have our own brother, the indefatigable Sulayman Ben Suwareh, always ready to come and discuss. Welcome, Brother Ben, to Gunjur Online and to dialogue with the youth. So, as always, welcome, bro.
Thank you, Ebrima. Thank you, Ebrima, for inviting me again on Gunjur Online, my second home. Thank you.
Yes. Brother Ben, straight to the point now, and the Ousmane Sonko, leading opposition figure in Senegal, has been charged with new offenses and his party dissolved. Tell us who Ousmane Sonko is before we go, for our viewers who are joining us new today, and what implication will this have in Senegal first before we come to the Gambia?
Thank you very much, Ebrima, for starting this program on a very important note. Who is Ousmane Sonko in short? He's a young gentleman, Senegalese of Casamance descent, but have parents from the other side of Senegal, the northern part of Senegal, from Jolof, and the grandparents, some of the grandparents come from Futa. Ousmane Sonko is a young technocrat. He was a young technocrat who works for the Custom and Excise Department of the Senegal, and rose to medium to, technically to senior level of management. And during the course of this, he started to advocate, and he was known within the systems as a non-nonsense person, as a straightforward, very competent, and someone with integrity. That's what he made himself of. He started agitating against corruption and so on. And a group of intellects, young intellects called Pastif, came together and decided to invite him to make him their candidate or a leader of the party, which we know today as Pastif, the Patriotic Citizens of Senegal. And Usman Sonko is a true Pan-Africanist. He's someone who believes in himself, who believes in Senegal, and he advocates policies. He have written one book I know of, and co-written another book, which is about his solutions to development and Senegalese development. And the other book co-written is again similar, which about transformation of Senegalese economy. And yeah, he went for the first elections about 5 years ago as a leader of a coalition. Whilst he have never been a presidential candidate for Pastif, but he have led as his independent candidate for a coalition, of political parties. And first time in the history of Senegal, someone to come outside of politics, the mainstream of politics, and he came third in the race. But as it progressed, and Macky Sall managed to neutralize the other opposition parties by arresting their leaders and dismantling them. And the final or major political party, which was of Idrissa Seck, he induced Idrissa Seck and got him to join his government, technically marginalizing Ebrima, Mr. Seck onto his grassroots. But unfortunately, during the COVID and the corruptions of the COVID and everything else, Pastif started to have contraction to areas they have never have command, and due to the way they were advocating against the government for the corruption that was happening with the COVID finances and so on, which really irritated Macky Sall, because Macky had never, or the Senegalese major political parties have never taken Pastif seriously. They thought it's just a small party of youths, and the main support base is in the diaspora or on social media. And the first parliamentary elections that Pastif went on, they break another record, because Macky Sall won, I believe, 15 seats in the diaspora. And once Pastif went first time and ran against Macky Sall for the diaspora votes, they won 10 seats in the diaspora, which just show the influence they have with the youths or educated elites, young elites. And this again happens. He was arrested due to he have frequented visiting a massage parlor, which was called Sweet Potty. But what actually transpired here is it came out that the government knew about his frequent visits to this place, and they thought they had an opportunity to frame him and incarcerate him and get him out of the systems or to run for politics. But unfortunately, the Senegalese people could see through what was happening, and his error of judgment, or whatever you call that, was not seen by the Senegalese, but what they saw was the injustice meted on him, because the allegations was ridiculous that he went and raped one of the masseuses by using 2 weapons and so on. Then he was charged with two counts, rape, and so the other ones was threatening or whatever they call the charges. And in this case, as time went on, it became very clear that everything was fixed. Everything was trying to get him incarcerated, and that's where the struggle continued again, and his popularity grew as time went on. And it was during this time again, the parliamentary elections came, and his from with his support. He was the major. The passive was the backbone of the coalition. The coalition, political party. They were part of Ewi Askanbi, and they won sizable number of seats. And this continued, and they replicated the same thing in the municipal elections. They win sizable number of seats, and in both elections, to be determined that if presidential elections were held, Macky Sall was going to lose. The vote, and obviously this really what is the reason behind Macky Sall going after Sonko, and the verdict came out. Obviously, after everything else, he was tried in absentia. The verdict came out that he was innocent on both charges. But surprisingly, something that he was not charged of, he was guilty of. Again, that shows the injustice of the system. He was found guilty of corrupting the youth. And actually, from landed scholars in Senegal, they said there is no offense in their statutory book as corruption of the youth. What they have in the statutory books is corruption of minor, which is someone under 16 years. Technically, he was sentenced for 2 years, and but he never served that sentence because he was barricaded at his house, and the judgment was never enforced, which is a surprise. After the judge have made this thing, again, it's unprecedented that someone was sentenced and was not served. Shows the lack of confidence in the justice system itself. And as time went on, they took out the barriers. When they took out the barriers, what happened is incident on a Friday past. He went to the mosque and he noticed that there's a young lady actually harassing him, coming into his face, recording him and so on. And he seized the phone and asked the lady to delete the images because he have no right to intimidate him or to intrude his privacy in that manner, which the lady refuses. Later, it was found out that lady works for the Senegalese gendarme as a secret agent. And Sonko went back home, and his house was raided, and he was arrested and taken to the things and charged for stealing a mobile phone and charged for provoking or calling for insurrection, which again, according to landed scholars, the statement he have issued have not amounted to the charges. But again, the allegations came out. What the prosecution general read as the charges conflicted from what the Zandam statement is. The prosecution general came out and said that the lady, yes, is a Zandam officer, plainclothes, but happens to be driving through the streets, and his car broke down in front of Sonko's home, and Sonko stole his mobile phone, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
But the Zandam admitted here is a secret agent who was a part of the network of secret agents sent there to put surveillance on Sonko. In a democracy, this is harassment. This is a complete harassment. This is who Sonko is. But in a nutshell, what defines Sonko is he's an anti-establishment candidate who advocate for change, a system change in Senegal, and he's a Pan-Africanist who believe in Pan-Africanist ideas, who have advocated that if he happens to lead the country, all the contracts they have, especially with France, will be renegotiated so that Senegal will be on a win-win situation. That's who Sonko is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brother Ben, for that synopsis. Who Sonko is. I think it is very, very important for listeners to know who Sonko is, especially those who are not in Senegal or those who are listening all over the world, as many people from this platform, come from different countries and different regions, so that they can at least understand the gist of what we are discussing. Sonko has been a National Assembly member also, and he has been the mayor of the southern city of Ziguinchor also. So, for a young man, that's a huge profile. Brother Ben, but some people will say he's a firebrand opposition leader. he has this electrifying he has been on electrifying on young people with his slick, some people will say slick social media campaign, and he uses to rip into Senegalese elites and whip up of nationalistic sentiments and all those things, so these are some of the characterization. Don't you think this is the fear that's get into Senegalese elites? Because we can see what is going on, even though Macky Sall is acting on this. Why do you think Usman Sonko is so electrifying on young people? Why do you think the establishment, are so adamant to see Usman Sonko, go through the election and contest, as a normal opposition leader? What is the fear there? Because the charges that are living against them, the fomenting insurrection, the new charges that include undermining State Security Act, aim at jeopardizing public security and creating serious political unrest, criminal association with a terrorist body, and thefts, So what terrorist body and all those things? These things are so fabricated, anybody can see, but it will be proved along the way. But what is the fear about Usman Sonko?
No, the fear is that's why the what is against Usman Sonko is a system. A system is against Usman Sonko and his movement, Paste political party, and this system is made of corrupt elites. I mean, in Senegal, and the what we might call the world order. Mm-hmm. This is something he's against. He's an anti-establishment candidate, and why is he really feared is he have managed to make an anti-establishment candidate appeal where in a country where a mainstream political party is the only appeal. And generally in Africa, this is the problem. It have never happened in Africa where an anti-establishment candidate have a real appeal to the people. And Usman managed this. As you can see, in the case of Gambia, we haven't got any anti-establishment party that appeals, not in Sierra Leone, not in anywhere in Africa. But Sonko have made this possible. And it's not that without trying. There have been anti-establishment candidates in Senegal. And we might classify something like PDOIS as an anti-establishment this thing, but they have never. And they have called for similar things as transformation, as system change, and everything else. But the thing with Sonko is the way and manner, the strategy applied. He have the pastors have appealed. And they know how to appeal to young people. They know how to appeal not only young people, but the marginalized people in society. That's why they build a grassroots based on this. And they are very articulate, and they have been seen as very credible young people, and this is who they are, and that's why they are popular, and that popularity threatens the systems they're going after, and that's why the systems are pushing back. And let me put this for people to understand. Senegalese politics have always been vibrant, especially towards elections. Remember, Ablaye Wade was accused for similar case. Ablaye Wade was accused for a coup d'etat when certain people were arrested in Gambia. This was in the 80s, late 70s, and he has been accused of a lot of things. People have been killed. Election invigilators have been assassinated. What you call it? Ablaye Wade, throughout his political life, he have gone to prison a few times. Detention a few times, and charged and went through the courts many times. And but he prevailed. But he have never been disqualified. With every charges on him, he have never been stopped from running elections. And the same thing happened with Macky Sall. Macky Sall, when he came out, he have never been arrested, but he have been harassed many times. And Macky Sall have came and even make most serious statements that statements that are more serious than what Sonko or what we perceive of what Sonko have made. But Macky Sall have never been cancelled or banned from running for office. But the difference here with Sonko is the amount of the bad maltreatment within the short period of 2 years. No candidate have never gone through that. You can put everything that has been put on WADA and you can fit it within 2 years of what Sonko have experienced. And the determination, the first time in Senegalese election politics for a major political party to be subscribed, to be banned, or go to that level to try to stop the candidate from running. And the other thing is Sonko is reacting to the force being put on him. If the force was not put on him, Sonko would not have reacted this way. We have seen the level of brutality. And in order, because it's not about justice. He's ready to face the justice, he's ready to go to the justice because he knows that they don't have a case against him. But it's a matter of injustice and knowing that what the Senegalese government is doing is about abusing his rights. And subscribed in the Senegalese constitution, you have a right to resist when your rights are abused.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Greetings to our listeners and our viewers all over the place. And Maria Masi say hi. Idrissa Sanya is saying, long time, Ben. Hope you are okay. Idrissa Sanya, and we have Sister Aisha Sonko Jame says, we need ones like Sonko in the Gambia. The youth man of the country should stand up for resistance of Africa. And Ben, a lot of people are watching as always, and they follow you. But his destructors sometimes might level him as a rabble rouser who uses populist sentiment to win public sympathies and all those things. But Brother Ben, but to give you a little bit of statistics, we have 4 in 10 people in Senegal are below poverty line. And the youth, about 22% of working age people are without job. And according to UN report also, and which Sonko says he was going to turn the economy and create jobs, and UN says last year Senegalese economy contracted, is going down instead. So this is the situation, and Sonko kind of kind of giving a sentiment that he's giving youths the hope, and then he also stand for anti-corruption. He's adamant on corruptions and all those things, and this endear him to the youths, and which have a large population in Senegal, and the youth didn't see anything. That's the incumbency the Macky Sall government is doing for them in terms to reduce the number of unemployment and the hope that the African youth should have in the midst of all the resources that Senegal have. So he becomes so popular, but this popularity is a threat, probably not only nationally, Brother Ben, to internationally.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us whether these have any international dimension? And we see when Niger, the coup d'etat happened, but whatever is happening in Senegal, we didn't see the condemnation from the international space, as it should be, and all those things. Do you think this also has, before we come to the implication for Senegal, this has also both national and international dimension in what is going on through in Senegal, led by Ousmane Sonko? Because some of the things that he is saying, he didn't say, because I had one of his interview that he didn't hate France, he didn't hate any other region. What he wants is, whatever we are having, our countries should have a lion's share of it. It should be distributed fairly so that our youth can be employed, so that this backway saga that is going on, our kids are dying, should stop, and all those things, and we can reinvest this money into our economy to make our countries better. Brother Ben, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ebrima. You give me a minute because it's I want to run into it all your entire commented.
Good.
First, the accusation about Ousmane Sonko trying to emotionally corrupt the youths to react. That's a false charge. What is the emotional statement that he makes? I mean, he speaks very clearly and very straightforward That's why he have an appeal. You see, what Sonko did is, and managed to do is, to expose corruption. You see, and he did it very well by exposing the corruption in Senegal and giving a clear solution, and started with saying that if we control this corruption, only our revenue would be enough for us to reinvest in the productive economy, that we will not need to go out and borrow, and we will develop our country. He made them believe in this by articulating numbers and explaining areas that needed for investment, where jobs will be created, where value chains will be created so that job will create. This is what he came out with in his book, the solution to the problems of Senegal. And the other thing is giving hope. You see, the major issue with the democracy of Senegal is corruption. That's why he started and articulating that area of corruption and the solutions of fighting corruption and the proceeds of corruption, where it will be invested so that productivity would and jobs will be created, and so on and so forth. But the mineral resources, this is the first time for a Senegalese or politician to articulate it very simple terms, so that the people can understand of the resource capitals they have, how rich the country is. Now, you speak to ordinary Senegalese, they can name all the type of resources they have. I mean, mineral resources they have, which, I mean, most Senegalese, even educated Senegalese, did not know. And he have, I mean, counted from 5 to about 7 form of resources they have, and the potential of, using those revenues to transform the country, which give hope to the people. We give hope to the people. This is where the less fortunate, the marginalized, have hold onto and have first time seen someone that they have trust and that can transform their lives. They believe in this program. They believe in this project. That's why whenever you meet an ordinary Senegalese, he will articulate simple terms what PASTEF stood for and what they hope to achieve from a PASTEF government. They will tell you the project, and they will tell you resource natural. And you see, the reason, if you look at Senegalese politics, the reason Ablaye Wade did not want to just serve 2 terms, but he wanted to stay to the extent of going to a 3rd term and by trying to get his son to take over from him, is because of the mineral wealth, especially oil and gas. And the same thing when Macky Sall came have been proven, that he took over the contracts and changed everything in the contracts and positioned himself and his family to benefit, and his cronies to benefit from these contracts. And his younger brother have been found wanting by taking up contracts with Frank Timis, and which again prove that the entire system is corrupt. But it went on from there on. It's not only, the corruption is not only done by Senegalese, but they have partners in the international. And this is why the international did not like Sonko, because what he articulated, again, Sonko is a Pan-Africanist, and I believe it's in ideas. Sonko did not ally himself, and he refused to ally himself with any international, systems. In a sense, what I mean is, to what some political parties did, or some movements did in Africa, trying to use Russia or use China or anywhere else. No, he did not say that he is anti-France. No, what he said is, whoever they're going to do business with, they will ensure Senegal have a win-win situation. This is their resources. And another thing they talked about is that most of the mineral resources or the raw materials would be processed within Senegal. I give you an example. They have articulated that why would they give license to the EU? Why did they give license to the Chinese and other nationals to fish within the waters of Senegal, and in fact deplete their fish stocks? Well, when Senegalese now cannot even, as the problems in other part of Africa, they cannot even provide for themselves. They cannot even afford the cheapest of proteins. Now, not only that, the entire industry, fisheries industry in Senegal, which employed, I mean, this is a traditional this thing for Senegal. I mean, affected to the extent now the trade they get on is human trafficking rather than going, keeping on to this thing. And he articulated how it's going to be done, so that any fish caught within Senegalese water would have to be processed in within the sovereignty of Senegal, so that the factories that are going to can the sardines or the tunas or process in any way or form would have to be done in Senegal to add value in it in Senegal, so that Senegalese government will have more revenue and create more jobs and economic prosperity. What's the problem with this? This is one area. I give another area is Africa itself is crying out to Ukraine for fertilizer or Russia for fertilizer. He articulated that Senegal is producing phosphate, and that phosphate is exported to France and imported as a finished product. Why would we? He said if they come into government, the phosphate in Senegal will be processed in Senegal. And fertilizer, they ensure that they have enough fertilizer for their farmers before anything will be exported. I mean, what's the problem with that? You know, and it's the same thing with they have an iron ore deposit. They have gold. They have zircon. I mean, they have so many other mineral resources. And what they said that they will need to rearrange all these shares. And they have one of the, part of the biggest deposits of oil and gas now in Africa. Now, these two needed to be renegotiated so that the process, and benefits would largely stay with Senegal. What's the problem with that? This is what is asked for. He never allied himself. He have never mentioned any so-called superpowers to ally himself with them. He have never, Spastef have never depend on any multinational company or, even philanthropists within Senegal. They depend on funding from their diaspora and from ordinary Senegalese with their goodwill to contribute. In that way, they avoid a state capture.
Yes, definitely. But Brother Ben, he also called for intelligent exit from the CFA. That's the franc, the CFA franc.
Yes.
He also campaigned for that.
Because what you understand is being part of the franc would constrain you from doing other changes. Once you are part of the France, part of your economy would be mortgaged to France.
Yeah.
Now, if we have to detangle those arrangements, obviously he would not be part of France. And why would they? If a small country like Gambia can have their own national currency.
Exactly. What about Senegal?
Why would Senegal still depend on the franc?
Yeah, Brother Ben, before we come into the impacts and all those things, some people will say, no, Sonko's strategy is how he wants to get into power. It's not good. It's not patriotic. It's creating chaos and all those things. What do you say about those? The strategy that he used, and to get to the power, to call for demonstrations, Sonko
is not the first person to call for demonstration. Abdoulaye Wade have called for demonstration. Abdoulaye Wade have led demonstration. Demonstrations have been happening. You know the difference with what happened to Sonko's demonstration, Abdoulaye Wade? The police or the gendarme or law enforcement are less furious with the demonstrations. But even with Abdoulaye Wade, lives have been lost. Property have been damaged. Life had been lost. And the same Macky Sall came on the back of a protest.
Yeah.
From the Janneh March and other protests, 14 lives were lost before he registered his candidature. 14 lives were lost. Macky Sall have called for the more serious wordings he have used. Macky Sall have called for youths to storm and take over the State House. Sonko have not. In that times. You see, the difference is here. It's Sonko is reacting according to the force being applied on him. You remember, if they come out for their protest, if they're given a permit to protest, he got their protest and go back home. But if they ask for permit to protest, they disallow them to protest, They don't allow them to protest, and they will be heavy-handed on them. What do you want to happen? For them to say, no. If it's to say that let Sonko just stay and leave Maki to get away with it. That's what literally people want to ask for. Restraint means Sonko. Who have the power here? Who have the monopoly of power here? Sonko did not call people out for this thing. Always call out because there's something injustice been advanced on him or his political party. 700 members of his party have been arrested.
Yeah.
700 in peacetime. And most of his executives have been arrested on frivolous charges. But what do you say about the journalists been arrested then? Pap Alinya and others. Did they demonstrate? Did they call for insurrection or anything? Not absolutely. But they want to silence them. But I'll give you another example. The people would say that they are the same people that say that when UDP stood against the dictator, they would say that UDP is a troublesome party. And if UDP had not stand with the dictator, we would not have a political party, a platform that we will have rise on up, to defeat the dictator on this thing. That's a fact. When a system changed to a dictatorial system, there's no other way. Whatever way necessary have to be applied. If you succumb to that oppression, you will ever be enslaved. This is the fact of life. France have their freedoms and their independence when they demonstrated against the monarch. When the English realized that the powers they had before it was not enough to keep the peasants, what they did, they started to devolve power. And the devolution of this power is what we call the British democracy. That's why our democracy is unique, when we have an arrangement to accept the head of state to be the queen or the king or the monarch. And we have a parliament to be head of government. But at the same time, we used to have, and we still have the House of Lords, which represented what the aristocrats. It was by inheritance, isn't it? You would have said that's not democracy, but they negotiated to devolve power. And gradually, this is what democracy is. Gradually people push. Before, you had technically two political parties, the liberals and the conservatives.
Yeah.
But that when the poor people realized, people working class realized that they're still not been represented, that's where the Labour Party came out from the unions. That's why it's called the Labour Party, to represent their interests. And it is this Labour Party that brought the welfare state from the National Health Services and so many other things for the welfare systems. Now, this is what the devolution of democracy is. But if you think that we have to wait for the executive to give us, then you will never have. And what Pastef or Sonko is doing, it's a noble, rights to do. And it's inscribed in the Constitution of Senegal. It's in the Constitution of Senegal. He have not even they still cannot convict him with any crime, with all the efforts. They've been fabricated, many others, but still they can't.
Brother Ben, when he was last June, when he was charged and sentenced of corrupting the youths or young people, which include using, one's position to have sex with, whatever they want to say it. 16 people died according to government information. That is, we know it might be even more than that, and it is more than that. But at least we have 16 people died, killed, and dozens of people wounded. A lot of nearly 70 or 100 plus, arrested. Journalists were arrested. Radio stations, or TV stations were threatened, and all those things. And we saw in France when the police shot a young boy not long ago, about 2 weeks ago, the burnings and all those things, so that people, because this is not one-off, this has been building up, and the system has been warned. If you continue doing this to our people, this is what we are going to do. Because sometimes, the power that be the elites forget about the ordinary people. The only voice that you have, to project yourself is demonstrations and demonstration and demonstration. And even in the US, sometimes demonstration you have elements that can come into the demonstration because people have their own grievances here and there all over the place. And 16 people died, and nothing. And we saw, state injected, militia people armed with gold killing people within the crowd. And normally, or most of the time, if that happened, people who have been shot and killed and died and wounded and imprisoned will react any country in the world. So in demonstration mostly is the voice of the ordinary people, and without it, changes will not come. A lot of people will then, as the scenario in the Gambia, there were a time the oppositions were troublemakers, and people will say these people are troublemakers, they are doing this trouble and all those things. But we know, the establishment will go and attack them. They will implant people within them to agitate them to do other. But what caused this at the end of the day was people were happy. We thought now the conflict is down, now it's gone. Macky Sall has said he's going to step down unwillingly because of people has to come out. Why do you think they take this other step? To kind of, because these churches, if you can see, it's just the new churches include undermining state security, act, aim at jeopardizing public security, and they go back up to 2021. And theft of a mobile phone. Do you think, Usman Sonko? But what impact have these on Senegalese democracy and the Senegalese community, their unity, the institution? Because I went to the gym today and I met a Senegalese man there, and he said, this the Sunni Sering, they angry with the Sering, the institution, the establishment. So Senegal is getting further and further divided, one way or the other. And for them to come down together in order to propel their economic developments, where is a beacon of democracy in the whole of the sub-region, what impact will this have on Senegal and Senegalese unity, and of course on the Gambia? Because going to Niger, the power cuts, because Nigeria is having about 70% of the electric supply into Niger. And because of this, now that thing, the power cut sometimes goes 6 hours and all of which has never been experienced there for a long time. What impact will this have on Senegal, their democracy, the unity, and of course the Gambia? Brother Ben, go ahead.
Okay, let me get back to this. These are the reasons here. The reason we have all this violence going on is Macky Sall's government. Because Macky Sall still did not want to leave power. Macky Sall was forced to concede. Remember when he conceded to say he's not going to run, he said, even though I have the right to run, which is false. The same person who came and did a constitutional amendment to guarantee people that so that we will not have these troubles again. Now, if he had promised that and campaigned and made it clearly that this is no person can ever be run for 2 consecutive times. If he said that, oh, there's a loophole there, what sort of a man is this? But you can see that he was never prepared to leave power. He don't have a successor. Still now, 6 months to election, have never, in any government, that a year between elections or before elections, a candidate. A year. But not this time. Now, Macky Sall is doing everything possible. As you have, just looked at it here, the malicious, the amount of weapons bought and everything illegally. If these people were killed, they are not investigated. How you said no? The 16 people were killed in March last year. June, it's about 50 people, and people don't know because bodies were turning up at different places because malicious play a part in this. But still, there's no inquiry. How can you have the amount of people die without accounting for or how they killed? But one thing for sure is, apart from the police officers that died, 2 or 3, rest of the people that died, they died by gunshots. Who had the weapons? The government and the government militia. Clear cut. Now the case is before the international courts. Now, Macky Sall, the reason we have this thing, Macky Sall is still finding a way to stay in power. One, Macky Sall is finding a way to extend for 2 years. Mm-hmm. He tried a constitutional amendment to have the powers to dissolve parliament? Why would any executive, democratic executive, want a power to dissolve parliament? Especially the person, ready to leave power in 7 months. And they did not give him that. Now they're trying to fabricate that they have terrorism on. You see, they playing the ball again. So that when they incarcerate Sonko, they can hold him for a long time without going for trial, up to election passes, because they cannot disqualify him. They have nothing before the courts to disqualify him, but they want to charge him charges that will take a long time to justify investigations, and in elections would be passed, then Sonko would not be candidate. This is another tactics what they want to do. If they don't get away with extend or saying that, the country is ungovernable, we are going to extend our elections for 2 years so that he can have time to manipulate the system again and run again. What they want to do is to make sure they dismantle. That's why they said that they have banned Pastef, and still that's not legal. They cannot pronounce a ban and ban Pastef. It has to come from a court order. But it just shows you the amount of frustration they are with trying to get public opinion against Sonko. And I can tell you one thing. If you look at my timeline, I think it's day before yesterday. If you bear me a minute, I made a post. I made a post 2 days ago. And the post said, alert, don't jump to the conclusion if the Gambia government issued breaking news concerning Macky Sall's visit and risk posed to his security, all shall be revealed at the right time.
Yeah.
I did this to preempt when Macky Sall was in the Gambia. I wrote the word alert in capital letters. I wrote the if in capital letters, knowing that they are likely to back off because their secrets have been revealed. And the breaking news in capital letter concerning Macky Sall's visit in capital letter for a reason. Now, what actually happened? I have someone from the within the intelligence reach out to me. And this person, when he reached out to me, someone I know, he works in the intelligence. He reached out to me to say that he got something to share with me. And I said to him to go ahead. He said, can I trust you? You are free to post and share it too. That's what I said. I said, okay, I will do. And he said to me, there is a fuel plot to assassinate Macky Sall. Arrest made at National Assembly, Gambia High School, Johnson. There are Senegalese from Casamas. That's what he said to me. That's what he said to me. And if you read it, he said, there's arrest made.
Yeah.
I said to him, okay, how trustworthy is your source? Can I check out with contacts? I took permission. And he said, I am within the system.
Yeah.
I said, I said, okay. I said to him, don't post it. Let me check it out. Because the reason is I already knew of something building up.
Yeah.
When he contacted me, I suspected that something was going to go on. He said to me, remember, I leaked the coup. The coup he's talking about is the so-called December coup I was in Gambia, which I refused to publish. And he said to me, it's 100% reliable. And he promised, no, I won't post it. I can't post it. He said 100% reliable, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, listen to this next. What I did is I went on and verified the arrest within the system. I suspected arrest didn't happen, and I verified and have two confirmation that no arrest of such had been made. Now you will ask me, why would they want Ben Suwareh to release
yeah.
something that's not true.
Ah.
Ebrima, do you know what happened?
Yes, go ahead, bro.
Senegal already have people, Senegalese, they have Casamas, Jolas they're working with, part of their intelligence, who were ready to be revealed as people arrested. But they want the news to come out and to come out from someone like me.
Wow. Wow.
I'll give it to you. When I went back to the person, the intel guy, I said to him, I found this to be false.
Yeah.
No arrest made. But I said to him, I know about a plot which they're trying to do to blame Pastif.
Ah.
This is what the persons replied.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I also think they want to blame it on Pastif. Remember, the same person said he was
the same person. Yes. Yes.
He said he was 100% sure. If you are 100% sure about something, but he had to say you are very smart when he knew that I was not going to post it. Before I sent him that, I knew what was going on. I rushed to put that. I know they were watching my timeline, Open Gambia, to see whether I'm coming to announce it. Then instead, I posted to warn them that I know the game been played. This have stopped them from advancing what they wanted to advance.
No, okay.
But if you realize that the day before this, or the same day, they went in the Senegal there, they went and accused some young people of terrorism by firebombing a bus, which is now found out to be false, which find out to be staged. Similar to what they wanted to do in the Gambia. Similar to what they wanted to do in the Gambia. You see, that's why when we said that what happened in Senegal will affect us, what Macky Sall does is affecting us.
Yes.
And if I have come out, I can tell you, Ebrima, if I have come out, I'm not beating up my chest for anything.
Yes.
But I know there's a following that have trust in me, especially on national, if I talk about national security, because I have never, nobody can bar me for saying anything to be found out to be untrue.
Yes.
And this is what they wanted to hang on. Now, if I have come out and say it, now they will have put me in a position to keep on defending that it happened.
Yes.
Because I cannot come out and say it did not happen. But luckily that I have an insight to know that they were planning something. I didn't know exactly what it was, but the minute I saw this message, I know what it was about. Then I said, this might be correlating to this. And when I checked it, that's what it was. You see, Macky is trying everything to stop Usman Sonko. Macky is trying to everything to hold on to power. This is what the problem is. If Macky have left Usman alone to run for elections, nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen. Yes.
Nothing will happen. Then, if you want to say stop, you have to. The person who have the means would stop. That's it. Because it's ridiculous to say that he stole the mobile. It's ridiculous to go to 2021 to look for why was he not charged at that time. And I have had people, analysts, German independent analysts, say that look, the statements that Sonko made cannot amount for insurrection. They have read the criminal code to say this is it has to be amounting to this for this. But no, they just want a charge to hold him for a long time and to frustrate the struggle. And Gambia is going to affect it. Not only Gambia. I'll tell you one thing. And this is why coup d'etats do happen. You see, this is a solution. If democracy allows to thrive, where people can mobilize, people can go democratically and get involved, and they go through the process free and fair, and if they win elections, that's good. They have to deliver. If not, they too they go to election, they lose. What democracy is, and Sonko have done something. To the first time for an anti-establishment to able to confront a corrupt system, and in order to bring a possibility of change. It's hopeful. All the opinion polls done by the government and independent institutions and political parties have come out that if they have had the election today, Pastef would win at the first round. This is the problem. Now, Alaji, if that's happened, that would be the credit for Senegalese democracy.
Oh, definitely.
Now,
Definitely.
Senegalese democracy is completely false. It's a dictatorship. Now, you think if Macky Sall gets away with this, what what Barrow would do?
Yeah.
What other presidents would do? Because Macky Sall is trying to do everything that President Ouattara did.
Yeah.
Now, we have seen the other countries in Africa now have been taken over by the military. Sierra Leone just arrested officers who wanted to overthrow a few days ago. Which other countries will be safe?
No country. No country.
Now, if we can have, like, I don't want to use the word ordinary citizens to build political parties within a short time, yeah, other countries will learn from it. We don't need a coup d'etat to bring about change. We can bring a change. We can take up. We can be an establishment and take up the systems and change, because Sonko have done it, Pastef have done it. This is what we want. And whoever supports Macky Sall on this, you better have supported Janneh before. This is exactly there's no justice in Senegal right now. And the institution, even the civil society institution, have been undermined because of the billions of CFA being pumped into civil societies. Hardly any credible civil society in that country anymore. The religious leaders have been compromised. It's not of Senegal. You can see now idiots are online being paid money to insult, to agitate, to lie, to fabricate because of corruption. And it's proven. Sonko have never used money or anything to induce the youths. The Pastef youths are even the most disciplined youths in Senegal right now. But they will be in thousands and organize a meeting. Mobile phones will be lost in the meeting, and they will be up looking for the owners of the mobile phones because they are inspired by the narrative of Sonko. A meeting would be organized. They will go and clean the entire coming. Not only the meeting area, the coming for that matter. And when the meeting finishes, they will clean after themselves. They'll do their procession, they will do their celebration, they'll go home. You won't hear an incident. But again, this is their future. Ebrima, people that look at Dakar, the new buildings in Dakar, the trains in Dakar, new airports, and call that, or new stadiums, and call that economic development. Ebrima, I came from Senegal in November and December. I was in Senegal. I have traveled from Salum, Jolof to Fouta, and Dakar itself. But Ebrima, you'll be surprised of the level of poverty in Senegal, level of poverty in Dakar. And you see, this is why too Sonko have an appeal. Because Sonko have articulated that your poverty is caused by government corruption. And they have seen the evidence. Macky Sall's wife's family, 7 of them become billionaires during the time of Macky Sall's government. Macky Sall's brother became a billionaire during Macky Sall's government. And other people, in ignorance, people that have the person who went and accused Usman Sonko for libel, Mama Njinya become billionaire because he was given a project to transform agriculture. Nothing's been seen to provide water, facilities and so nothing happened. Now, what did they do? Most of the development within the new buildings you see or those trains are not even, these are heavy loans which are not sustainable, been taken for projects that are not viable. The stadiums are not generating income. And Senegal have gone and took Euro bonds, French loans and everything. And those things could have been injected in productive sector and create jobs. And Ebrima, the evidence is here. Now look at the amount of Senegalese youths taking the back way. You think if there's economic prosperity, tell me any country that's economic prosperity, you see the people living their souls. Everywhere you look at now, Senegalese youths are moving in droves. You think the youths in Senegal hate themselves to stand to confront the security forces to be killed?
No.
They are inspired for something.
Mm-hmm.
They have hope. This is what it's about. But people who benefit from this sort of systems, be in the Gambia and others, are against Sonko because they don't want the system to change. And Ibrahim, I'll tell you another thing. There is tribalism in this.
Mm-hmm.
There are people looking at Sonko because of his ethnicity. They don't want Sonko to become a president. Let's say it's a fact. There is intellectual snobbery in it. Because some people, so-called intellectuals, are with those that do not take up risk or put themselves or do the heavy lifting, are jealous of the achievement of this young man. And these are the two things that you find goes against Sonko. Some people have genuine apprehension, thinking, oh, he is too radical, which is understandable. They have apprehension, he's too radical. Some people might think that he's not experienced. But tell me who is experienced in government without going into government. If all this other, if Paul Kagame is effective as his government, Sonko have more on intelligence than Paul Kagame. Sonko read far more than Paul Kagame.
No, and then he was a National Assembly member. He was he was at the tax also. That's the key, and then he has to unearth some of the high-profile people that were not paying tax in Senegal. Those people are mute today. But as you always said, when it was, the poverty level in Senegal is high, too high. Youth unemployment 22% and increasing. About 4 in 10 people are below poverty line, below poverty. The poverty in that country, if we are only comparing Senegal and the Gambia, then we miss the point completely. The resources that is in Senegal and the mismanagement.
But look, Senegal might have better roads and better services in many aspects. But if it comes to poverty, they're not doing better than us.
Exactly.
Ebrima, I have, as I said, in November, people say, oh, because you haven't been. In November, I was in the Gambia.
Yes.
I went to rural Gambia. I have the videos. I have the pictures. And my mission is to understand. I didn't go for a holiday. I went to understand. I visited all these places in Senegal. I went to understand. I went and saw the evidence of the development of the oil facilities and the gas, this thing. I went to Saint Louis and saw it. I got it on video. I've seen where transformation have happened. Yes, there was a program. And if the program was delivered, it would have been a prosperity. But the program failed because of corruption. What people term or Gambians look at in Dakar to see success, that's not true. If you see most of those apartment buildings and everything, most of them are owned, yes, Senegalese diaspora, but the rest are from corrupt sources, from Gambian officers, from Equatorial Guinea, from Mali, from Guinea-Conakry. Senegal have become the Switzerland for West Africa, for theft. Every officers now that still go to Senegal to bank with the Senegalese banks and buy property in there. You have droves of apartments.
Mm-hmm.
They are available. They are not even occupied by Senegalese. They are empty. They are only they are on Airbnb and so on and so forth, or just been bought as an investment. But it's not that Senegalese government have been building housings for the Senegalese citizens. No. You see the Kermassar, the Parcel, and all these places. It's the same thing. Look at, why France, the suburbs, when there's these things, you have enough of angry youths because of the underdevelopment in the suburbs. It's the same thing in Senegal. Part of these youths, I'll tell you, if these youths were so gainful and employed and having the benefit of the Senegalese economy, you think Sonko would have appealed to them?
No.
Absolutely not. That's the evidence.
Once again, brothers and sisters watching all over the world, we are talking about the Senegalese opposition leader, Sonko, who was formerly charged and detained, and he's on hunger strike now, Brother Ben. Once again, the democratic gain of Senegal has been revised. This has implication for the small country Gambia, who is next into Senegal. Other than the opening from the Atlantic Ocean side. One thing, if Senegal destabilizes, Gambia will destabilize. And Brother Ben will let us know the link that Senegal have on the Gambia, the impact, the role model Senegal was playing in the sub-region, sub-Saharan region, has been undermined now, because of, somebody, an individual who is, gradually turning into dictatorship, want to circumvent, the roles and the rules of the democracy in that country. And this has been the stories in Africa for long time. And nobody should justify what is happening in Senegal. And this is led by the incumbency of that country. The uncertainty that is happening in that country is created by the leadership and the elite of those countries. We know there's a lot of poverty in that country. Commensurate this, or juxtapose this with the resources that those countries are, the potential that the people have, the ingenuities of Senegalese people in terms of craft and all those things, but there is no support. Senegal is not only elite areas in Dakar. Senegal is huge. When you travel, you snake into Senegal. The type of housing, the type of poverty that you see is as bad as in the Gambia. There's nothing, and we can do better. But we have to respect the constitution, the term limit for the leaders. Our problems are our leaders, nothing else. And if we come together as a people, we can challenge these leaders so that at least our people can have decent life and decent way, and have hope in their future. The death toll in Senegalese, all over the place, when the migrants are marooned in some places, the Senegalese will be there far more than Nigerians and all those things. The Senegalese youths are desperate, like how Gambian youths are desperate. You can blame them, but at the end of the day, these people's parents upon parents and generation of parents have been paying to their taxes and contributing. A leader that just came less than 5 years ago, 10 years ago, become millionaires. All the flanks of his relations and his colleagues and his friends and families will come millionaires, driving cars that are worth millions of millions of millions of millions of the currencies of those countries. And still, anytime this happened, there were a time in the Gambia the oppositions were blamed. The oppositions were the trouble rabble rousers. They are the troublemakers. Through the TRRC now, we understand more what has been happening. And this is happening also in the other countries, in Senegal and everywhere else. So that's why we need to critically analyze these things. What is the root cause of the resistance that is happening in these countries that allows people to die? Young people died, about nearly 100 died now within short period. Janneh killed, 22 years. We have all these, disease and all those things, and we are alarmed. But within 2 years, how many people died in Senegal? Just because somebody want to circumvent the democratic gains of Senegal and their constitution. This is why we should be, greetings to my own brother, Omar Njai Sanyan says, well said, Ben. Thanks to you, brother Ibrahim Scattred, Janneh of Gunjur Online TV, and Nakeba Ben Suwareh for this educative program. We are live in Gunjur Online discussing salient issues that affects our country. Brother Ben, the Senegalo-Gambian conference or whatever, they didn't even have a silence or acknowledge the death that happened on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah.
They just came and dramatized, whatever they have to dramatize. But did they know the impact of Senegalese chaos, the inflame that is happening in Senegal, the impact that it will have on the Gambia, even for security reason, for the incumbency? Did they analyze this, or did they just don't know? But what is the impact, the instability, the reversal of democratic gain in Senegal will have in the Gambia? Go ahead, bro.
I think it should be concerned to Gambians. The Gambia government is not fit for purpose. It's a bunch of people together who wake up every morning going to look for what they can put in their pocket and what they can save and what they can build and have a lifestyle. The entire government don't have credibility. You can hardly find a person within the systems. I mean the executive, within the executive and the political party that's in government who is dissent and to be said that he have concerns for what happens. If you don't have concerns for what is immediately before you, you cannot have the time or analyze what is coming onto you. This is the situation we have in Yami. It's frightening. You can look at it in many, many aspects how it's going to affect us. We are depending on Senegal for almost everything. Part of our fuel now we import from Senegal. We import our electric from Senegal. We import building materials from Senegal. We import food from Senegal. We import, only that is a threat. But the most and destabilizing stuff is democracy. You see, what Senegal did is they took over everything we had before. In a sense, when Senghor was there with Jawara, Senegal was envious of Gambia, small Gambia, of what we achieved. Jawara was always elected first to lead any organization that Gambia was with Senegal, be it the SILS, Sahelian, whatever they call it, we call SILS, Senegal part of it, be it the OMVG, be it the ECOWAS, be it the is it called part of OIC, Islamic Conference, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and Gulf War.
Yeah. I mean, Sadauda served those positions as president before Senghor or any Senegalese president would have. So Sadauda have appeal, international appeal, I mean, in the sub-region and in the world, more than any Senegalese government have, or most African country presidents have. And that in fact, being the catalyst of what brought peace between Guinea-Conakry and Senegal, being the savior of the conflict or the war that was ensured to happen between Mauritania and Senegal. When they had the crisis. And the minute it happened, Jawara was the chairman of ECOWAS. What he did was he dispatched Abbas Bundu to travel to Senegal and travel to this thing and started to mediate. And Senegal was in the foot of going to conflict. And you know that actually Jawara saved Senegal. After when everything was settled, Senegals realized what had happened. Because of Senegal has contributed troops to fight the Iran war. What happened was sophisticated weapons were smuggled and support Mauritania in order to prepare to fight. And that could have been catastrophe on Senegalese cities if that had happened. But in a nutshell, to say that Jawara have intervened there. But Jawara have shown that statesmanship, not only within this, but that showed that statesmanship in the international stage where he have mediated between Iran and Iraq. But coming back home, in the time of independence and during the course of everything, Sadauda have always sat on the table and make sure that he negotiated and he have the upper hand and controlling the urges of the Senegalese to take over Gambian sovereignty. And the last one of it was the confederation, which Senegal forced Gambia at the time of their weakness, when Gambia relied on them for security, and they forced Jawara to go to sign Senegambia Confederation. To the extent that when they wanted to push things even further down, Jawara refused. Even with the risk of that, what the relationship mean for his personal security and his regime. He put the country first, which I don't think Adam Barrow would do. I will read something for you here. Yesterday, I shared part of Sadauda
But
Kind
I'm just going to come there because I saw the book Kairaba, page 137,
yeah.
that you wrote. I think that's so
Can you read
revealing.
that? Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna read it. It's a little bit long, but hopefully the viewers will allow me to read this because it's so important. Jaura said, I fought tooth and nail against that notion, making it clear during the London Independence Conference at Marlborough House in 1964. I told the British government through the colonial secretary Duncan Sandys, that the Gambia was thinking in sovereign terms, while it will cooperate with neighbors in vital economic, diplomatic, and military areas. For its independence was the goal and not what Paris and London had proposed and envisaged for our country since 1886. It was even more irksome when our neighbors, during our interstate sporting events, taunted our country as being the runtime region. The fallacious diminution that considered the Gambia as the eighth region of Senegal instead of the sovereign entity that it was. So that reveals everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. And
Analyze that.
and let me read something else someone added
Good. Go
as a
ahead.
comment section on one of the posts. And this is Modu Kasama, who was the ADC to Jawara, who have witnessed a lot. Captain Modu Kasama. He said, during the ill-fated confederation, whilst on his way to visit Gambia, President Diouf had the audacity to demand that our national anthem should not play at the airport. The matter did not even get to Sadauda. The Secretary General, Sarah Jangha, was able to read the Riot Act to our Defense Secretary, telling him that we are two sovereign states, not a vassals of Senegal. That's what you call a competent advisor to the president.
Definitely.
You see,
Definitely.
it's a matter of fact. And again, if you read the book of Dr. Jagan Senghor, may his soul rest in peace. The book is called the Sing of SeneGambia. What do you call it again? Oh God. Anyway, if he was explaining he wrote about the historic perspective of Gambian independence. And what he said and explained was, when we opted for independence or due for independence or negotiated for independence, obviously the English in fact wanted, and that's what Jawar explained, for Gambia to go under Senegal. And yeah, the book is called SeneGambia History of Senegambia Integration. And what Jawara leadership said was, they are going under the auspices or the negotiation under the auspices of the UN with an open mind, that if federation is best for Gambia, we will accept, but we are going there for independence. And even though if we are going for a federation, we want to maintain an identity. And he made demands to the British that we will want an airport to be built, we will want our ports to be built, and we'll want jetties to be built along the River Gambia, so that we can bring our produced from the provinces, but again re-export to the sub-region. That's about our independence. You see, it's a fact that they wanted, and they always wanted, and they always want to consume us. And again, during that course of negotiation, the then Prime Minister of Senegal, Mohamed Amadou Dia, came and visited the Gambia. When he came, he had a town hall meeting with his youths, and had a town hall meeting with the unions before went and met the executive to discuss the issue about federation. It's not a secret. And Alaji, let me say this. It's not a bad idea. But as it's narrated in Dr. Jagan Senghor's book, we have to naturally evolve, working in partnership, bringing our institutions together for our mutual interests. To say that if we envisage a united Africa, it has to start with SeneGambia. Because what we have in common is far more than any other countries would have. And as time goes on, we would have come into to be one. And then if we can see the other countries come into it. But it cannot be through a cohesive or forced union or a strategic move that would render us as second-class citizens within a federation or a province of Senegal. This is what we should be against of. But it's not about saying it. It's about having the leadership that would ensure we would not run into that. The leadership kind of Sadauda, and even far better than Sada, that we should envisage to have or work to have. But if we continue on this parallels of having the leaders like Adama Barrow, Senegals get everything they want, and they are having everything they want. And Gambians should be really concerned, because we have boundary dispute with Senegal. And this boundary dispute have been negotiated for years, have not been resolved, because of it's not only a line drawn or drawing for boundaries. It's about the potentials of mineral resources. If you know the Combo South, the Cartons, and all those areas, you know the mineral wealth within the sand, and these are the same in the other side of customers within the same boundaries. If you understand our oil prospects in the southern part around these Combo Carton areas is the same as what they have in Casamas. It's adjacent to what they have in Casamas. If you look at our oil prospects in the Salum Delta, and around the Sangamar, is the same, adjacent to this. You see, where we have boundaries, and we have to protect these things. How come Senegal technically all their prospects are yielding something, but Gambia prospects are not yielding anything?
It's not yielding anything.
We need a competent leadership to find out these things. It's impossible that this thing will happen. You cannot have that amount of prospects. Adjacent to Senegal, and Senegal's one are yielding, but Gambian is not yielding. Look at the agreement we have on fisheries. Where we allow them to come fish in our water and not us to fish in our water. And why should we even have that agreement? They have enough water. They have more than we have. Why do we entertain them? But again, this is this. And do you know that there are other agreements we signed on aviation, which in fact gives Air Senegal an advantage, which again would stop Gambia developing itself as a hub. There are so many things at disadvantage. And if we continue, and this is not Adama Barrow's fault alone. This is us Gambians. We have to take responsibility. Until we lead ourselves out of this, until we start to elect competent leaders, not based on anything else, but their competency and to deliver for the national interest, we are bound to be under the thumbs and wishes of caprice and wishes of Senegal.
Brother Ben, Sister Mariam says, my question is, are we still having the reflection or state of mind? Could there be any correlation? As we say, the same ideology, something like that. Anyway, Brother Ben, and where are our intellectuals? Where are the intellectuals in Senegal? Because these intellectuals, they allow, and Yaya Jammeh will say, baboon walk and monkey eat. When he was Yaya Jammeh, most of the time, I'm not going to use an umbrella term here, but we have people who are not educated, old people fighting and dying and struggling, and the elites were there, just in a kind of keeping quiet or minding their own business, finding a way that they can survive. This happening in Senegal also, the elites, the intellectuals, and all those things. It's only the kids and the young people who are suffering immensely with their people, doing the fighting. If there's any change, it's the same people that will come and use up the power and change the narratives and all those things. We see it. But where are our intellectuals? Most of the time when the fighting is tough, when the going is tough, you don't see them. And it has been the same thing. And the moment stability comes and power building comes, you can see them coming one way or the other to come and parade themselves over the people, and the status quo continue. Where are they? My question, Brother Ben.
And that's the history of Africa and history of developing countries. They allow systems that they are okay. If the system serve them, they don't want to know about the rest of the country. And it's just the ignorance of their intellectuality, for that matter. Because if things continue, it will bound to bite you. The insecurity will come to a level that you will not be safe anymore. And when they start to break into their houses and threaten them, they start to cry out the insecurities. But where were you when things were building up? Why did you not engage in order to make sure that countries run better? But no, once they can build their fences high, they can put the barbed wires, they can put the CCTVs, they can put tinted glasses, they can have a guard and stuff like that. They think they are secure. But it comes to a time that the country become ungovernable, or go into uprisings, or go to rebellions and all those kind of things, and they run to be refugees in other countries. They don't think about that long term. And that's the sad thing about what we have as, we term as intellectual, but they are just school people that are not even educated. That's why
brother, in the follow-up to this, because a sister is asking me, what can the intellectual do if the political environment is hostile to their engagement? What do you think they can do then, brother
no,
Ben?
it's not hostile to their engagement. It's hostile because of they disengage.
Yes.
I mean, this is it. I mean, and it's not hostile because they benefit. They are benefiting from the systems. I mean, they are not. I mean, if they were suffering the system, they would have. Rise up against the system. When Yaya Jammeh came, I mean, people who find ways to maneuver, they just maneuver and kept quiet. But even now we have democracy. Who stopped them from coming into the democracy?
They're not writing. They are not talking.
Look, you don't have to join a political party.
No.
You can be a part of civil society, and not. I mean, as an individual, there's so much you can do. There's so much participation you can do within your communities. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Community of Gunjur. I mean, let's not use Gunjur. Let's use another community, because we'll not be fair on you. But
no, go ahead. Go ahead. We have this platform is Gunjur platform, so let's start with the kitchen cows to come to the roots. Okay,
now, look. Every day I see you guys struggling in Gunjur.
Yes.
Try to raise funds. How many Gunjur nationals you know? Quite a few now will be called millionaires. And I bet if they have put in 10% of some of their capitals, Gunjur would have been communities of Gunjur would have been trans in many ways. Gunjur is one of the most progressive communities in the Gambia right now.
Yeah.
The amount of sacrifice young Gunjurians are doing, the likes of Ahmad Manjak, who could have stayed in Saudi Arabia and other areas, or come back to the United Kingdom, and far better, and give his children a better, more conducive environment to achieve their potential. But because of the love for Gambia, but especially Gunjur community, he's out there to try to do something. And there are so many other people I don't even know, but I can see the evidence. I mean, I can see the amount of diaspora activities Gunjur are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to get back there about, I mean, there's so many things you guys are trying to do. And I tell you that if most of the people doing it are the younger people, and the less fortunate ones are sacrificing one way or the other, either giving their labor, their mind, or something else, and so on. But the same people would want to use Gunjur for political base or other things. They will use the leverage of being from Gunjur, or being from one of the biggest kabilos of Gunjur, to use as influence to head of states. We know that. And the same applies to many other regions of the Gambia. Nobody stopped them. Look, the change doesn't mean that we have to start to agitate from the executive level. It's from what we can do from the grassroots. Because to inform, and we inform in many ways. There are so many projects that we do and engage the citizens so that they'll be aware, and they will start to vote right and vote based on those competencies. They can hold their representative accountable. You see, I mean, these are the things that can happen. I mean, in not sure that how many Gambians would retire after they finish their service international, and most of them The only thing why the reason they return back to Gambia, they cannot renew their contracts in the international.
Yeah.
And most of these people have achieved their education or whatever it is because of what society have given them. But ask them how much did they impact to society, apart from paying their tax. How much extra did they give? Ebrima, if we are to do the change, every able citizen should try to do that extra. One way or the other, be the financing, be the whatever it is, you have to do that extra, not the bare minimum that you are required to do, pay taxes and so on. This is where the difference is. I mean, most of these people are retired today. They would not, you not hear them because of, again, they are still subsidizing their income by taking consultancies or contracts or relating or having relationship with people in government doing the damage. These are all facts. All these people could have, be active in society and doing a lot more. You have seen the difference here. Most of the things that work in this country is not because of politicians make it work.
No.
It's because of people make politicians to make it work.
Exactly.
The biggest solution to fight or enabling system to fight cancer is from the voluntary sector, isn't it? Yeah. Who are these people running the voluntary sectors? Why can't our people run voluntary sectors? Are the voluntary sectors? Any other illness of this in this country, if without the voluntary sector, it would not have worked.
Yeah.
The advancement is because of the voluntary, how much they volunteer. That's the extra we're talking about. Not because of their work for even to get paid, but the extra sacrifice they do, the extra hours they go and give out. Be in keeping the environment, be in keeping the canals trusty, be in developing education, foundation schools. And Alaji, if it happens that they have the finances, what do? They put the finances in order to empower people. They give some to charity. But Ebrima, as you are aware that you will be taking part in many fundraisings, the money comes from places that you never expect.
Yes.
Places you expect to see, it doesn't come. We know that. It's not about political fundraising. I said all form of fundraising we are doing. We appeal to people, and we know the people who struggle are given far more than people that we expect that they should able to deprive themselves or their luxuries for that matter, not themselves, in order to see other people have. They will not do that. This is where the differences are. And if it's time to advocate, they can advocate and articulate better. Even some of these people even write an article and give them to ask for their opinion. They will not. We had a project here, and most of what we were doing was developing certain things, and we had to contact people from their expertise. Ebrima, I can tell you from 12, none came back to us. And all these people will be telling you how much they did. None came out just for one page. They're lazy to contribute. For us who are not academics, and these things, you would, I run a platform. I do sort out people to edit. I don't take credit for everything I put out there.
No.
Because I don't have the expertise. But certain articles, I will know people that I expect to understand it better or to put it better. And I will give it to them to look at it before it's finally put. Because I am doing it as my contribution. I could have said that I'm not an academic. I cannot write, or I'm not best at writing. Other people are better, but we are forced to do that. And I will tell you today, and you know this, try and invite many of these people to come to your platform.
No, brother, they don't come. We are in this platform. I know we are not that big a platform, but we struggle to have people to come and discuss issues here. People that we respect, we have honor. We thought they know. they can contribute a lot, so that, it's not only about attacking the government, it's about to educating each other, to educating the masses and all those things. We don't say they are not intellectuals and they are not elites that are doing this, but the bulk of them are not. They're very comfortable with at their corner, and the status quo is falling. But when it's fall, it's everybody's fault once again. So thank you so much, brother Ben. We went almost 1 hour and 1.5 hour, into the thing, and we don't want to be here until 10 o'clock. I want to also discuss about Niger. We see
and finally, just to say this, example is here. Pastif came together. These are young intellectual. Most of them graduated, and Senegal, when they graduate, they have a school for civil servants called ENAM, where you have to go either if you want to be a magistrate, you have to go to after your law degree. If you have an accounting background, economics, to want to be a custom officers, these are areas you go before coming. That's where Usman Sonko went. That's why his deputy and many others. That's where they came from, and they came together and started something. When these people started, they were laughed at because of the amount of people that attend their meeting. They invited Usman Sonko did not form Pastif, They decided to invite him for his profile to lead, and they started. And today, within a short period, they are where they are because they are committed. They have jobs, and they knew that, in fact, being in opposition, it's a threat to their jobs. But they took that sacrifice. But most of these people we have in Gambia, Senegal, and other places, they only want to take it easy. They want to insulate themselves. Let the government change. We have seen it in 2016. They came out from the woodworks and pretend as they did not know Gambia exists. Yeah. And the typical case of this, I'll tell you. The chairman of the TRRC, Lamin Sise.
Yes.
It was a disgrace for Lamin Sise to be surprised that some of these things were happening in the Gambia.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But you can tell he was admitting that he didn't know, because he insulated himself, and he was at a very senior level at the UN. These people could have supported us in many ways, and he is related to people who were suffering more. He's related to Usain Dabo. He would have known what is happening, but he did not want to know. Most of his colleagues.
And now the ordinary people who suffered, who did the fighting, they're not even remembered. Nobody talked about them. They don't have any positions and all those things. That's the double standard that we are. If you want to be mute, if you don't want to come, when changes come, stay where you are, But no, that's the time you come and use your influence and all those things and construct the status quo. And there we are. Brother Ben, I think we need to stop it here. Yes, I want to stay. We ought to talk about the coup in Niger, but definitely the time will not allow us. We have to finish it here until probably when we are free again. Then we are going to come back and discuss about issues that are affecting us, and why we don't have the local government minister in the Gambia still, and many other things.
Now let me give you that bit. Barrow is planning a mini reshuffle, but he's so confused, and God knows what's wrong with this guy. So in the service, apparently he wants to do it once and for all, and appoint these things, and there's a lot of pressure now, the lobbying and everything. He cannot take a decision. This is why the local government minister is not appointed yet. It's still in consideration. I don't know who it is. There are many names been thrown in the background for many other things, but this is what it is. He wants a mini reshuffle, and some people might go. Some people will be recycled again in the foreign service. I don't think he's gonna let anyone go like without
yes.
I think they're going to be recycled somewhere else and bring others forward.
As Dr. Sen said, the tyranny of the minority, the complications of our situations in Africa is nothing but our leaders that are causing all these problems. No matter, we blame those who are reacting to the bad situation, to the poverty, to the degradation of life in those countries. The reactions, we can engage them, we can give them points and score over 10 or how many percent their reaction. But at the end of the day, the degradation, the poverty that is in Africa is our leaders that are perpetrating this, the corruption, the lack of policies to change, the lack of empathy and the lack of sympathy for the ordinary people is all coming from them because they have the latitude, they have the power, they have the economical power, they have power, they have been armed with the constitution and the necessary powers and the resources to effect changes so that ordinary people can have a decent life. As Mr. Khalifa Sallah says, born in poverty, live in poverty, and die in poverty. That's not God made, that is man made. And those men that are responsible for those are our leaders and nobody else, because our oppositions are not on the sitting table to make policies, to make decisions. We don't pay them. It is the incumbents that we elect that are making those decisions. The people who prefer to buy a personal car, for their families and girlfriends for 10 million, 3 million at least, when they don't have gloves to take care of the sanitary gloves in our hospitals. People who want to go for holidays, get setting all over the place through corruptions and giving themselves unnecessary per diems, and you don't have needles in our hospitals. People who prefer to build mansions all over Africa and sometimes in Europe and North America, but they don't have electricity supply. When our people, our women are giving birth or be in surgeries in our hospitals, the electricity will go. That is the situations we have. And that situation is perpetrated by our leaders and nobody else. To even sympathize them, especially when you are in Europe, it's tantamount to hypocrisy, for me, because we know what we have here, and we know it is the leadership and the system that works here that we are enjoying, in order for us to take care of ourselves and shovel back some little pittance to our people for their livings. If Gunjur can build their roads and all those things just to make shift, it is a make shift. And just about millions, a few millions, less than the car that an ordinary managing director will drive. What can stop the government to have these hospitals equipped so that the myriad of people, the numberless of people, whether they are registered in online or not, that are dying on a daily basis. People who cannot get electric supply, people who cannot get decent waters. Go to provinces just outside Brikama and towards Fonyi, and you have the thatch houses and makeshift places. The amount of living that those people are, is not fit for purpose for any human beings. People's dogs, people's bats are living better in other part of the law, not because we cannot do it, just because our leaders have failed. Our leaders failed because some people who are hypocrites, supporting them, just one way or the other because of either their regionalism, tribalism, because their hatred to some other people. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the danger that's going to come and consume all of us, come and spare nobody. The danger that's happening because the collapse of economy, the youths are poorer today, the countries are poorer today, the youths have no hope, no employment. These youths can be any of our kids, any of our nephews. That is happening because our leaders failed immensely, immeasurably, and because you support them based on nothing but sentiment. Once again, thank you, all of you, wherever you are. And once again, we have to play this national anthem of Senegal, that we have to stop and we have to refuse these leaders to keep playing and setting us against each other. Once again, greetings to our listeners all over the world. Greetings to our producer and the management of Gunjur Online, Mr. Lamin Janneh, and specifically to Brother Ben Suwareh and all the viewers who are going to view these things and share, please, so that it can reach as far as we can, so that we can effect change and stop, being in the forefront or in the fringes of the higher societies of people's country and celebrate where we know we cannot go back because our leaders failed and failed immensely. Thank you all until we are here again. Thank you.
réew mi bañ naa dootuñu nangu kenn jaay nu réew mi bañ naa déet réew mi bañ naa déedéet dootuñu fi nangu bu mu jaam réew mi bañ naa.
Greetings to all of you.
Gambiana. Welcome to Greenville Estate in the heart of Gunjur, just minutes away from the Gunjur Highway. The estate is located in a serene and nature-oriented environment which makes it the first community in the Gambia certified by the National Environmental Agency. As part of our Going Green initiative, beautiful trees grace the landscape as you drive into the estate, and we are planting even more trees. Go green and own a piece of our Greenville dream. With 673 plots of land available, you can purchase a plot today and start construction immediately. Find your next home at the Greenville Estate, an affordable estate that suits any budget.